I wish I could say I clicked that link by accident. But the truth? Something in my gut already knew. It was late, around 11:40 p.m., and I was half lying on my couch in Columbus, flipping between apps, trying to kill time before bed. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. No hey, no warning. Just a link and one line. Bro, you need to see this. Tell me I'm wrong. That's all it took. Right there, my stomach tightened. I stared at the screen for a solid 10 seconds. I could have ignored it. Could have gone to sleep. Could have lived another day not knowing. But I didn't. I tapped. The page loaded slowly, too slowly, like it knew it was about to ruin something. Then it appeared. A profile. Soft lighting. A staged smile. A username I didn't recognize. But the face? Yeah, I knew that face. My chest went tight. No way, I whispered. I leaned closer to the screen like that would somehow change what I was seeing. But it didn't. It was my sister, Emily. Same eyes. Same dimple on the left cheek. Same necklace she'd been wearing since college. Only now, she was posing in ways I'd never seen before. Carefully staged. Intentional. Not random. Controlled. And suddenly, everything felt wrong. I clicked off immediately. My hands were already shaking. No, 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 this isn't real. I stood up, paced across the living room, ran a hand through my hair. Maybe it was someone who just looked like her, right? That happens. People have doubles. I went back. Clicked again. This time, I noticed something I missed before. Her tattoo. Small. Minimal. Right under her collarbone. I remembered the day she got it. She called me freaking out, asking if Mom would notice. That was it. There was no denying it now. It was her. And the worst part? The profile wasn't hidden. It wasn't private. It was active. Recent posts. Comments. Subscriptions. People were watching her. A wave of heat hit my face, so fast it made me dizzy. Not anger. Not yet. Just shock. The kind that makes your brain stall out. I grabbed my phone and opened our last text conversation. 2 days ago, she'd sent me a meme about our dad falling asleep in his recliner. Totally normal. Totally her. And now this. It didn't connect. It didn't make sense. I sat back down slowly, staring at the screen again. That's when something even worse hit me. If Marcus found it, how many other people already had? Coworkers? Neighbors? Friends from back home? My jaw clenched. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about her anymore. This was about our family. About Mom. About Dad. And I knew one thing for sure. If they found out, it wouldn't just be awkward. It would destroy them. I grabbed my keys without even thinking. I needed to talk to her. Now. Because whatever this was, it wasn't staying a secret much longer. And deep down, I had a feeling. I wasn't the first one to discover it. I expected excuses. I expected panic. Hell, I even expected her to slam the door in my face. But what I didn't expect was how calm she was. I pulled up to Emily's apartment around midnight. Lights were still on. That alone made my chest tighten, like somehow the night already knew this wasn't going to end quietly. I didn't knock politely. I pounded. Hard. The door swung open after a few seconds, and there she was, wearing an oversized hoodie, hair tied up, no makeup. Just my sister. The same one who used to steal my fries and laugh like nothing in the world could touch her. Jake? She said, confused. What are you doing here? No guilt. No fear. Just confusion. That almost made it worse. I didn't answer. I just walked past her into the apartment like I owned the place. We need to talk, I said. She closed the door slowly, still watching me like I'd lost my mind. Okay, about what? That's when I turned around and held up my phone. I didn't say a word. I just showed her the screen. For a split second, just a split second, something flickered in her eyes. Then it was gone. And she sighed. Not panicked. Not ashamed. Just tired. You weren't supposed to find it like that, she said. That sentence hit harder than anything else. Not, it's not what you think. Not, that's not me. Just, you weren't supposed to see it. I felt something snap inside my chest. Are you serious right now? I said, my voice already rising. That's your response? She crossed her arms, leaning against the wall like this was just another conversation. What do you want me to say, Jake? How about the truth? I shot back. How long has this been going on? She hesitated. That was the first real crack. A few months. My stomach dropped. A few months. I repeated. So while we've been having Sunday dinners, while Mom's been calling you every other day, this is what you've been doing. Her jaw tightened. It's not like that. Then what is it like? I stepped closer. Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that. She pushed off the wall, suddenly more defensive. It's my life. There it was. That line. The one people use when they know they don't have a better answer. It stopped being just your life the second it became public, I said. Do you have any idea who can see this? She didn't respond. Didn't need to. We both knew the answer. Everyone. I ran a hand over my face, trying to keep it together. Does Mom know? Silence. That silence said everything. My heart started pounding again, harder this time. Emily, does Dad know? She looked away, and that's when I felt it. Not just anger. Fear. Because if she wasn't answering, that meant one thing. Someone else might have already told them. Jake, she started, softer now. But I shook my head. No, don't. I stepped back. You should have told me. Before this. Before someone else did. I was going to, she said quickly. I just needed time. You don't have time anymore. I cut her off. My phone buzzed in my hand. A message. From Mom. I didn't want to open it. I already knew. Slowly, I looked down, and the second I read it, everything changed. I didn't want to open that message. I already knew it wasn't going to be something normal. Not call me when you're free. Not did you eat today. Not one of those harmless things Mom always sent. No, this one felt heavy before I even read it. My thumb hovered over the screen for a second too long. Emily noticed. Who is it? She asked quietly. I didn't answer. I just opened it. 3 lines. That's all it took. Jake, call me. Right now. It's about your sister. Your father is furious. I swear, my heart didn't just drop. It slammed into my stomach. Too late. Way too late. I exhaled slowly, but it came out shaky. My grip tightened around the phone. They know, I said. Emily froze. For the first time that night, real fear showed up on her face. What? What do you mean they know? She asked, her voice suddenly smaller. I looked up at her. Dad knows. Silence. The kind that sucks the air out of the room. She shook her head immediately. No. No, he can't. How would he even? Marcus found it. I cut in. You think he's the only one? That hit her. Hard. She stepped back like I'd physically pushed her. Oh my God. Her hands went to her head, pacing now, fast and uneven. No, no, no. This wasn't supposed to. I was going to tell them. I just needed time. I snapped. You keep saying that like time fixes this. It does if I handle it right, she shot back, desperation finally breaking through. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. I stepped closer again. Because right now, all I see is you blowing up our entire family and acting like it's no big deal. It's not like that, she yelled. Then what is it, Emily? Her chest was rising fast now, eyes glassy, but she didn't look ashamed anymore. She looked cornered. You think this was my dream? She said, her voice shaking but louder now. You think I woke up one day and thought, yeah, let me risk everything for fun? I didn't respond, because suddenly, something in her tone didn't match what I expected. This wasn't supposed to happen like this, she continued, quieter now. I didn't have a plan. I just needed money. That word hung there. Money. I frowned. For what? She hesitated. And that hesitation, that was worse than anything before. For bills. I pushed. For what, Emily? She looked away again. I lost my job, okay? She said quickly. 3 months ago. I didn't tell anyone. That hit me, but not enough. People lose jobs all the time, I said. That doesn't lead to this. You don't get it, she snapped again. It wasn't just that. Then what else? She didn't answer. And right then, my phone rang. Dad. His name lit up the screen like a warning. Emily saw it, and whatever fragile control she had left. Gone. Don't answer, she said immediately. I looked at the phone, then back at her. He already knows, I said. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Please, Jake. If you answer that, everything changes. I stared at her for a second, but deep down, I already knew. Everything had already changed. So I answered, and the first thing my father said, I'll never forget it. I shouldn't have answered. I knew it the second I hit accept, but it was already too late. Dad, you knew. He didn't even say hello. No pause. No build-up. Just those 2 words, sharp, cold, and loaded with something I hadn't heard from him in years. Disappointment. I froze. Across the room, Emily stopped breathing. I could see it. Her eyes locked on me, waiting, like she already knew this was the moment everything collapsed. What are you talking about? I said, even though we both knew that was a lie. You knew, he repeated, louder this time. Don't insult me by pretending you didn't. I turned slightly away from Emily, lowering my voice. I found out tonight. A pause. Not relief. Not understanding. Just silence. Then, your mother is crying. That sentence hit harder than anything else. Not yelling. Not anger. Just that. Your mother is crying. I closed my eyes for a second. Tried to steady myself. Failed. How did you find out? I asked. But I already knew the answer before he said it. Does it matter? He snapped. People are talking. Sending things. Screenshots. Links. Do you have any idea how that feels? I swallowed. Because yeah, now I did. I'm handling it. I said, even though that sounded weak the moment it left my mouth. Handling it, he repeated, almost laughing, but there was no humor in it. By standing there? By letting this continue? My jaw tightened. What do you want me to do? I want you to fix it. There it was. Simple. Direct. Impossible. Dad, it's not that simple. Then make it simple. His voice exploded through the phone. Because right now, our name is being dragged through the dirt, and you're telling me it's complicated? That word again. Complicated. Like any of this had a clean solution. I glanced at Emily. She looked like she was holding herself together by a thread, arms wrapped around her stomach, like she was trying to physically contain the situation. She's right here, I said quietly. Big mistake. There was a shift on the other end of the line. A darker one. Put her on the phone. Emily shook her head immediately. No, Jake, don't. He wants to talk to you, I said. I said no, she snapped louder now. Panic creeping back in. He's not going to listen. He's just going to. Give me the phone, Dad said, his voice low now. Controlled. That was worse than yelling. I stood there for a second, caught in the middle, son on one side, brother on the other. And for the first time that night, I didn't know which side I was on. Jake, Emily said, softer now. Please, don't do this. Her voice wasn't defensive anymore. It was scared, genuinely scared. And that made my hand hesitate. But then I thought about Mom, crying, alone, and something inside me hardened. I held the phone out. Talk to him. Emily stared at it like it was a loaded weapon. Then slowly she reached out, took it, pressed it to her ear. Dad, she started. There was a pause, a long one, and whatever he said next. I didn't hear it, but I saw it. Because her face, it didn't just change. It fell apart. I've seen my sister cry before. When she broke her arm at 12. When her first boyfriend cheated on her. Even at my wedding, when she gave that speech and got too emotional halfway through. But this was different. This wasn't just crying. This was someone realizing, right in front of you, that something can't be undone. Emily didn't say a word for the first 10 seconds after Dad spoke. She just stood there, holding the phone, eyes wide, like her brain was trying to process something it didn't want to accept. Then her lips parted slightly. Dad, She stopped. Whatever she was about to say died right there. Her shoulders dropped. Her face lost all color. And slowly, like her legs forgot how to work, she sat down on the edge of the couch. I couldn't hear him, but I didn't need to, because I knew my father. When he got quiet like that, calm, controlled, that's when the damage was the worst. Please, just let me explain, Emily said finally, her voice breaking. Another pause, longer this time. Then she flinched. Actually flinched, like the words on the other end physically hit her. No, that's not. She started, shaking her head. It's not like that. You don't understand. Her voice cracked hard on the last word. And suddenly, I felt it. Not anger. Not anymore. Something heavier. Because whatever story I thought this was, I was missing pieces. Big ones. I didn't want it to get out like this, she said quickly, like she was trying to catch up before he said something worse. I was going to stop. I just needed a little more time. She stopped again, listened, and then, you don't mean that. That one sentence came out quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like the ground just disappeared under your feet. My stomach tightened. Dad, please, she whispered now. Don't say that. Silence. And then I heard it. Not his words, but the sound of the call ending. Emily slowly lowered the phone from her ear. She didn't look at me, didn't move, just stared at the floor like something inside her had shut off. What did he say? I asked carefully. No response. Emily. Still nothing. I stepped closer. What did he say? That's when she finally looked up. And I swear, I barely recognized her. Because the girl who always had something to say had nothing left. He said, Her voice was barely there. If I don't delete everything and stop. She swallowed hard. He's done with me. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Final. I felt my chest tighten again. Done how? I asked, even though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. A bitter, empty laugh escaped her. The kind of done where you don't come home anymore, she said. Where you're not part of the family. I exhaled slowly, because suddenly, this wasn't just a mistake anymore. This was a line, and she had crossed it. Or at least, that's how he saw it. And Mom? I asked. Her eyes filled again, but she didn't break this time. She didn't say anything. Emily said quietly, I think that's worse. Yeah, it was. I ran a hand over my face. This can still be fixed, I said, though I wasn't fully sure I believed it. She looked at me, really looked, and for the first time that night, there was no defense in her eyes, just exhaustion. You still don't get it, do you? She said. Something in her tone made my stomach drop again, because that wasn't defeat. That was something else, something I hadn't considered. Get what? I asked. She held my gaze for a second, then said the one thing. That changed everything again. You still think this is about money? The way Emily said it, quiet, almost tired, made my stomach drop before I even understood why. I frowned. That's what you said. She shook her head slowly. That's what I let you believe. And just like that, everything shifted again. The room felt smaller, heavier. What does that mean? I asked. She didn't answer right away, just sat there, staring at her hands like the truth was written somewhere on her skin. I did lose my job, she said finally. That part's true. I waited, because I knew now, that wasn't the real story. But I didn't start this because I couldn't pay rent, she continued. I had savings. I could have figured something out. Then why? I pushed. Emily, what are you not telling me? She looked up, and for the first time since I walked in, she didn't look defensive. She looked ashamed. I didn't want to come back home, she said. I blinked. What? I couldn't do it, she repeated, firmer now. I couldn't sit at that dinner table and pretend everything was fine. I couldn't listen to Dad talk about hard work and doing things the right way like life actually works like that. That's not a reason for. You don't get it. She snapped, but there was no anger in it this time, just frustration. You fit into that life, Jake. You always have. I don't. I opened my mouth to argue, then stopped, because maybe she was right. I tried, she went on. After college, after everything, I tried to do it the way he wanted. Stable job, safe choices, no risks. Her voice tightened, and I was miserable. The word hung there, heavy, real. I woke up every day feeling like I was living someone else's life, she said, like I was slowly disappearing. I shifted my weight, uncomfortable now, not with her, but with what she was saying. So this was your solution? I asked carefully. She let out a short, hollow laugh. No, this was my way out. That hit different. What does that even mean? It means I finally did something on my terms, she said. No expectations. No pretending. No one telling me who I'm supposed to be. I stared at her, trying to connect the person I knew with the one sitting in front of me. But at what cost? I asked. She didn't hesitate this time. Everything, apparently. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it wasn't explosive. It was heavy, settling. You think Dad's wrong? She asked suddenly. I hesitated. That was the problem, because I didn't have a clean answer. I think. I started slowly. He doesn't understand. She nodded once. Exactly. Another pause. Then she stood up, wiping her face quickly like she didn't want me to see anything else break. So what now? I asked. She looked at her phone on the couch, then back at me. I either delete everything, she said, her voice steady but thin, and go back to a life that made me feel invisible. She swallowed. Or I don't, and I lose my family. There it was. The real choice. Not money, not mistakes. Identity, freedom, belonging. And suddenly, I realized something that made this even worse. There was no version of this story where everyone walked away okay. She took a breath, then asked the question I wasn't ready for. If you were me, she held my gaze. What would you choose? I wish I had a perfect answer for her. Something wise, something strong, something that could fix everything in one sentence like in those stories people tell when they already know how it ends. But I didn't, because standing there, looking at my sister, the same girl who used to beg me to check under her bed for monsters, I realized something uncomfortable. There wasn't a right choice, only consequences. I took a slow breath. If I were you, I started. She didn't blink, didn't move. Waiting. I'd ask myself one thing, I said. What? Can you live with what comes after? She frowned slightly. I don't mean today, I continued. I mean a year from now. 5 years. When this isn't new anymore. When people stop reacting and you're just left with your life. Silence. Heavy. Real. Because either way, I said, you're losing something. Her eyes dropped for a second. Yeah, she knew that. You delete everything. I went on. Maybe you fix things with mom and dad. Maybe. But you go back to a life you said made you feel invisible. She swallowed. And if I don't? She asked quietly. I met her eyes again. Then you better be damn sure this life you're choosing is actually yours. Not just a reaction. Not just an escape. That one landed. I could see it. Because for the first time that night, she hesitated. Not because of fear, but because she was thinking. Really thinking. Minutes passed. Neither of us spoke. Then finally, she picked up her phone, sat down, and opened it. My chest tightened. This is it, she said softly. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Then, she started deleting. Not everything. Not the account. Just the newest posts. The ones that had spread the fastest. The ones people were sharing. I frowned. What are you doing? She didn't look up. I'm stopping it from getting worse, she said. And after that, now she looked at me. And there it was. Clarity. Not perfect. Not easy. But real. I'm not going back to who I was, she said. But I'm also not letting this define me either. I exhaled slowly. It wasn't a clean answer, but it was hers. What about Dad? I asked. Her expression shifted. Pain. But also something stronger. I'll talk to him, she said. When he's ready to listen. Not just judge. That was going to take time. A lot of it. And Mom. Her voice softened. I think she'll come around. I nodded. Because if there was one thing I knew about Mom, it was that love didn't shut off that easily. The room felt different now. Not lighter, but steadier. Like we'd stopped falling. For now, as I headed toward the door, Emily spoke again. Jake. I turned. Thanks for not walking out. I gave a small nod. I thought about it, I admitted. That made her smile. Just a little. And for the first time that night, she looked like my sister again. Not the girl from the screen. Not the center of some mess. Just Emily. As I stepped outside into the cold night air, my phone buzzed again. Mom. I stared at it for a second, then answered. Hey, I said quietly. Her voice was fragile. Is she okay? I looked back at the door behind me, then up at the dark sky. Yeah, I said. A small pause. She's trying. And honestly, that was the only thing any of us could do.